How's it going, everybody? It's Jim. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing you my story on how I made thousands of dollars as a teenager. And just to be clear with something, guys, I'm not bragging here. I'm not trying to show off or anything like that. The point behind this video, the intention of this video is to help inspire other young teenagers like I was, and I was very driven at a young age to get started working and making money. So I know there's a lot of people out there in their teens that want to make money and want to start hustling and build their own business. So I'm going to share you my story, and hopefully it inspires some of you guys to do the same. Now, it's because of all the decisions that I made in my teens that led me to where I am today. I currently own and operate a home improvement business and a snow plowing business during the winter, and now I'm starting my next venture here on YouTube. And I gotta say, guys, so far I'm having a lot of fun making these videos, and I'm really interested to see where this thing leads to. I honestly have no idea. So now that you know a little bit about me, let's get into the story on how I made thousands of dollars every single month as a teenager. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like on it. Turn that button blue because it really helps out my channel. And comment below if you enjoy this style of video. This is the first style video that I'm making like this outside. I know I'm usually in my studio, but it was a really beautiful day out and I wanted to try something different. This all started back when I was just 9 years old and my father taught me how to cut the grass. And I remember being so excited to finally be able to drive around the tractor without his help, and I was able to run things over and cut things up. And it was a lot of fun. So I did that for about 3 years until I was 12 years old. And then I learned that people are actually making money by doing this. And I thought it was the most incredible thing ever. I wanted to make money doing this too. So my dad helped me get my first lawn account. He went over to my neighbor's house with me one day and we sat down and talked to them. I was able to pick up my first lawn cutting account at just 12 years old. I was making $25 every single cut, so $25 a week, which was, to a 12-year-old, was a lot of money. And you know, it's pretty decent money nowadays for something that would take 45 minutes. I mean, I'm sure a landscaper would charge anywhere from $65 to $80 to do that yard. And I was doing the weed whacking, I was doing the leaf blowing. So yeah, I mean, 25 bucks a week at 12 years old, that was pretty cool. And I had all the tools and the equipment at my disposal. My father let me borrow them. So it was really cool. He gave me that opportunity to be able to work and make some money. So, and then I remember going down to the bank with my father to open up my first little savings account for, you know, minors. And it worked out really well. The only problem was I never liked putting my money into the savings account because I just liked the feeling of having all that cash in my hands. It was just a really great feeling. And to this day, having cash, feeling it is just a better feeling than seeing numbers on the computer, you know? So I would never put it in there. I would always keep it. But I would put some money into the savings account if I got gifts and birthday money and so forth. And then I would see the interest grow, get a couple cents or $1 a year. But you know, back then it wasn't really about making money on your money. It was just more of getting you into the concept, breaking you into the idea of saving and earning interest on your money. Now, I'm not sure how old I was at this time. I think I was about 14, maybe 15. And I had $1,200 saved up in cash. And I thought it was the coolest thing ever. And you know, as a 14-year-old, there isn't too much to spend your money on anyway, but I didn't want to spend it. You know, I could have went out and bought some toys or whatever 14-year-olds buy these days, but I didn't want to. I wanted to save it up. I just love the feeling of saving it. And, you know, I would keep it in a wooden safe that I built. My dad helped me build a wooden safe. I actually still have to this day, although there's not much in it right now other than some old pocket knives and stuff, but it's pretty cool. Now, as time went on, I wanted to pick up more accounts cutting the lawns, and I would go door to door and just introduce myself to my neighbors and try to sell my services to them. Although I think I was just dealt a bad hand with my neighbors, and they weren't very friendly, and they really didn't have much faith in a 14-year-old coming over to cut their lawn. Now, cutting the grass wasn't the only thing I would do to make money. I'd also do snow shoveling. So when we would have big snowstorms, I'd have my friends sleep over, and we would go out the next day, go door to door, knocking on doors, and offering our services to, you know, shovel people's walkways. I remember we would charge about 10 bucks to shovel their walkways, and you know, we had fun doing it anyway. Now again, my neighbors weren't really friendly, so we never got like a huge amount of accounts to do, but we did get enough to, you know, have fun and make a little extra money. And you know, that is something that I never understood as a kid growing up. I never understood why these people would not want to give me a chance in working for them. You know, if a 12-year-old kid came up to me, if a 14-year-old kid came up to me and wanted to work for their money, and like they were out there, they're hungry for money and wanted to hustle, absolutely, I'd give them a shot. Why not? Like, what do you have to lose? You know, that's such a rare sign to see in a young teenager there, just starting out with work and, you know, wanting to hustle and make money. So I never really understood why they wouldn't want to give me a shot. They were always grumpy and stuff like that. I just thought it was sad, and that's something that I'm definitely going to take and consider as I grow older is, you know, why not just give these kids a shot? And it's not like we were charging them a ton of money. $10 to shovel your walkway, $20 to cut your grass. What, are you gonna go broke over that? You know, it's just, I don't understand what the big deal is. Just give the kid a shot. You know, and again, it's definitely something that's gonna stick with me the rest of my life, and I'll definitely notice that as I grow older. And if somebody ever knocks on my door wanting to work and make some money, have at it, why not? So when I was 17 years old, I finally got my license and I was so excited. I was also very lucky that we had a spare family car, you know, the old family car still around that I was able to drive. It's actually, we still have it today. It's a 2004 Toyota Sequoia. That thing is built like a tank, and my younger sister actually drives that thing every day right now. So I got my license, I was able to drive, and I was very eager to work. I applied to probably 20 different places online, and just anywhere I could think of, I was putting my name out there trying to get a job. And I remember it came down to 3 options. The first one being a grocery store. The second one was being to work for a family friend who I met through Boy Scouts at the time, and he owned a moving company for school furniture. So not really too thrilled about either one of those, but hey, it was a job. I really didn't care, and I was about to go for them until the third opportunity came around. And the third one was working at an office building. It was an advertising agency, probably about 15,000 square foot building. It was a fairly large building. And I wouldn't be doing any advertising work there, but instead I would be doing maintenance work around the building. So anything they needed to be done, whether it be doing some painting work or stocking the shelves, putting away, you know, supplies that came in or anything like that, basically anything they needed to do around the building, I was there. Now the great thing about this job is that it was only 4 minutes away from where I lived. So it made complete sense. It was very convenient. Top of that though, it paid me $15 an hour, which at the time I believe minimum wage was right around $8 an hour. So it was definitely good money. And the kicker here was I was able to make my own hours. That's right. That means I could go in anytime, day or night, whenever I wanted to, for however long I wanted to, as long as I showed up and I did my work. So 17 years old, making $15 an hour with a flexible schedule and a key to the building where I could come anytime, any day, day or night. I mean, that was a pretty sweet deal. And I'll be honest with you, the best decision I've ever made was listening to the advice that my grandfather gave my father and my father gave me, and that is to never share how much money you make with people, especially your friends. And the reason being is because I was making almost double the minimum wage. I was making double the amount that my friends were making at the time. I just didn't want my friends to judge me for it or to hate me for it. And even to this day, I don't share that information with anybody. It's just always better to keep it to yourself and just keep people wondering. Now, for the most part, during the school year, I would go into the office to work, you know, every day after school and put a few hours in. And then during the summer, I would put some more time in. I was working about 5 to 6 hours every single day, but it always varied depending on what my day was like, how much I wanted to work, really, because I was able to make my own hours. But during the summer, I was making about $500 to $600 every 2 weeks. So after having that job, I learned a couple of valuable lessons about myself. Number one, I really liked money. Number two, I absolutely hated being on other people's schedules. So that job was absolutely perfect for me, and I'm so grateful I did not go with the supermarket. So after I got a taste for money, I decided to set out on my own and figure out other ways to be making more money. Now, mind you, growing up as a kid, we always did everything ourselves around the house, whether it be painting or replacing boards on the deck or any house projects, we would do it. So I was able to pick up a lot of skills from my father working on our house over the years while I was growing up. So seeing that I already had experience in all those fields and I was picking up more and more as time went on, I decided to print out a flyer listing up a couple services that I would offer, and then I passed it around town to friends and family that we knew. And I remember one of our family friends was actually a realtor in town. So before he knew it, my name was getting passed around left and right, and the phone started ringing off the hook. Now, I remember my very first job that I got from that flyer, and oddly enough, it wasn't from anything that I put on the list. It was to dig up a walkway and dig a little trench out so a plumber could run a gas line under the walkway. And after the plumber did his job, I would come back and replace the walkway. So I did that job. I believe I charged about $16 per hour. So the people were actually very pleased with the job I did and continued to use me down the road for years to come. And I would do anything from painting and power washing to some moving. I put in a new mailbox. And the cool thing was the lady was a realtor. So she started referring me to a lot of other people. So I thought it was pretty cool to see how that one little job doing the walkway, my very first job, continued to get me work for the same people for years to come. And now one of my next early jobs was a weeding job. And I absolutely hate weeding with a passion to this day, but I didn't care back then, okay? I just wanted to make money, so I hustled and I worked. And again, that lady, same thing happened. She was so pleased with the work I did. She used me for house projects around her house for years to come. And what I was unaware of was that she was one of the #1 realtors in our area. And because she was so pleased with my work, she wanted to give me a shot in the real world out there. And she started referring my name to all her clients that were putting their houses up on the market. Now, when people go to sell their house, there's always a ton of things that need to be done to get it ready for sale. So I was doing everything and anything inside and out of the house. And little did I know that was going to be the start of what my business is today. So as my name continued to get passed along, my services grew longer. And then I learned that I can make way more money charging by the job than charging by the hour. Now, coming up with that formula is sometimes difficult, and honestly, you end up forming it over time with experience of how much to charge, how long the job's gonna take you. Now, my father definitely played a huge role in helping me figure out how much I should be charging for things and how to charge for things, as he himself is a self-made entrepreneur as well. Now, when I became 18 years old, I believe that's when I got my first work vehicle, and that was my 2008 Ford E150 van, which I still have today. She's still running strong. And the great thing about the van was it was way more versatile, way more efficient than a pickup truck was for the line of work that I was in. It was much bigger inside. You could haul way more things inside there. You could lock your tools up. You didn't have to worry about the rain. Everything about it is just better than a pickup truck. And because I was able to fit so many things inside the van, I was now able to do dump runs. And let me tell you something, dump runs made me a ton of money. I was charging $50 per run, but then soon realized that unlike all my other jobs, charging by the job or charging by the run was not going to be efficient, and I wasn't making enough money by doing that. The problem is I would show up to people's houses and they wouldn't be ready for me. So you would envision going there, just picking up a load, throwing it in a truck and going. A lot of times the people would not be ready for me, and they'd have to gather the stuff. I'd have to go up to the attic, go out to the shed and get it, and it just took too much time. So I had to switch things up, and I got away from charging by the run and I started charging by the hour. And back then I was charging $65 or $75 per hour, which covered me, another person, and my vehicle expense. Now, when it came time for college, I'll be honest with you guys, I did not have the greatest grades in high school. I applied to 6 different colleges and I got denied by every single one, except for one of the schools accepting me in with a condition that I completed a summer course, which I really wasn't too fond on doing, so I decided not to do that and I went to community college instead. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't too thrilled about this, and I did miss out on the whole college experience and everything like that. I mean, I did go out to parties and I visited friends. I had a good time, but I didn't get to live on campus and do that whole thing. But staying home and commuting to college allowed me to build my business even further. And honestly, looking back, if I went away to school, I would not be anywhere near where I am today right now. But anyway, I would choose the earliest classes. This way I would get out as soon as possible so I could go right to work after school. And I did 2 years there to get my associate's degree, and then I transferred to a state college to finish my 4-year degree, and I got a degree in business management. So I remember being 19 years old when I got, to this day, one of the coolest jobs I've ever gotten. And it was to do a house clean out. This guy in town passed away and his family inherited the house, but he lived on the other side of the country. So he wasn't able to do any of the work. He wasn't able to manage the house, and he just wanted to unload it and get rid of it. So I got a call to do the job. I did a walk through the house and it was a wreck. This guy was a hoarder, and the rooms were literally covered floor to ceiling. You couldn't walk in this place. I think I have pictures. If I do, I'll throw them up on the screen. So anyway, the deal with this job was to get everything out of the house as soon as possible. And the guy didn't care if I threw it away, if I kept it, or if I sold it. So we ended up filling 3 30-yard dumpsters completely full. There was a ton of scrap metal on the job. We ended up getting like $1,000 worth of scrap metal. There were 2 cars on the property, a forklift, all had to get out of there. I mean, this place was a wreck, but it was really cool, the things that we found in this house. I mean, just incredible things, generators, old train sets, tools, equipment, like anything you could think of was in that house. And it was a really fun time. I got a bunch of my friends to get in there and work with me. And at the end of the day, I think between everything, between the job and everything I sold and whatnot, I ended up making about $6,000 on that job. We were there for a couple weeks, and you know, it was just an awesome experience. And to take on a project that huge at just 19 years old was just incredible. And I'm so thankful that like the guy like had faith in me. I honestly, looking back at it, you know, I mean, I was a good kid. I was on top of my game. I knew what I was doing. But to let a 19-year-old kid take over the house and gut it and get rid of everything. We also overhauled the yard and cleaned it all up. So it's pretty impressive. And it was like one of the most eye-opening jobs that I had. So after I did that big job, it really kickstarted my business, and I realized that this thing is working. I'm gonna run with it. And that's basically how I built my business. So now my home improvement business is basically everything inside and out of a home. I mean, I learned to do all sorts of handiwork. So I still do the basic things: painting, power washing, landscaping, dump runs. We do moving jobs. We do tree removal, snow plowing, and now commercial snow removal as well. And keep in mind, guys, while I was building all this, I still had that job at that office building. Why? Because it was consistent money and it was good money. $15 an hour, make my own hours, why not? So whenever I had some free time, I would just run down there, put some hours in, and make some extra cash. I had that job for about 5 years, up until I was about 21 or 22, I believe I had that job, which I think is just pretty interesting to say that I had my very first job for that long. So I really wanted to share this story with you guys because I know there's a lot of people out there in their young teens or late teens or even in their 20s that are in the same boat that I was in, wanted to earn money, wanted to make good money on their own, start side hustles or start their own business, just didn't really know what to do and didn't know what was possible. But I'm telling you guys, it is possible. If you really want it, it's out there. And I know a lot of people struggle, especially during college, to make money. But I'm telling you, there are ways, you just have to find them. And a lot of people say like, oh, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get going with this. The reality is, guys, you're never going to be 100% ready. So if you really want this, if you really want something, you just have to go ahead and start. And over time, it forms on its own. Like I said, I was 17 years old, started doing some side landscaping for people, and now I have a whole business out of it. And landscaping is only a small portion of what I do now. Now, I will say one thing, I never had anything handed to me as a child. I always had to work for it because that is the way my parents raised me. They wanted me to appreciate everything I had, so they never really gave me any handouts. I always had to work for it, which honestly today I'm very grateful for. However, what I did have as an advantage was the support of my parents, especially my father with all his knowledge and experience in the business world, as he's a self-made entrepreneur and a business owner as well. So yeah, my father was definitely a big help and played a big role in my life growing up and still does. However, at the end of the day, it's what I wanted to do. I put the initiative in, I put the time in to work and make this thing happen for myself. You know, I'm the one who wanted to start my own business. I'm the one who is very eager to work and hungry. Look, you either have it or you don't. You're either hungry or you're not. I mean, it's not for everybody, and it's just the way it is. What I'm trying to say is if you really want it, it's out there for you. You just have to go get it. So if you guys were in the position that I was in when I was younger and want to make your own business or want to start making money doing side hustles, then go ahead and just start, okay? The opportunity is there. You just have to go out and get it. And don't hesitate ever to ask a family member, a friend, a teacher, or anybody else in your life that you look up to and who inspires you for help and guidance. That sort of thing will never come to you. It'll never fall in your lap. You have to reach out and get it. And a lot of people feel awkward and nervous and kind of guilty asking somebody for help, and they think that they don't want to be bothered, but you would be surprised but anybody who's made it out there in the world would absolutely love to share their knowledge and information with you to help you succeed. Another great tool you guys have to your advantage is the internet. I mean, it's such a powerful thing. You can learn absolutely anything on the internet and YouTube, how to do anything on YouTube, right? So take advantage of that. And the last bit of advice that I'm gonna leave you guys with is never say no, because you never know where these opportunities are gonna lead you, okay? If you wanna do only landscaping, but somebody asks you to do power washing or something, like pick up the power washer and learn how to power wash, you know what I mean? Like I often look back to that first job I had weeding that lady's house. And I just thought how much I hated doing that. But look what it led me to. Look how much work it's gotten me. I just often wonder if I said no to doing that weeding job, where would that have left me? Would she ever call me back? Probably not. So never say no, seize the opportunity, and never burn your bridges. Let me know what you guys think about this style of video. I had a lot of fun making it, and let me know if you want to see more of this in the future. I'd love to make more videos like this and share my knowledge and experience with you guys, but I really would love your feedback in the comments below. Don't forget to drop a like on this video if you haven't done so already, and also if you like this video, then go ahead and subscribe and stick around for more. If you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions, then leave them in the comments below. I read and respond to every single one, and I love getting your feedback. Thank you everybody for watching. I'm Jim Leadus, and I'll see you on the next one.